Okay, it's about time for us to have a conversation on relationships. It's February. The season of love has officially begun. And we have a really interesting topic for you. Mr. Kingsley Vature is here to discuss it with us. He is a licensed family life practitioner and a professional life coach counselor. Over 2 decades of experience in this field and also in personal improvement in that space as well. Now, he's also a member of the Family Life Coaching Association of America, and with his wife, they run a platform called Common Sense for Relationships. It engages both singles and marrieds to, make better choices in life. Today's topic is kind of about choices in that regard. Heartbreak Cafe. That's a place just down the road, right? Some people visit without knowing that they're about to step in there.
Into the cafe.
Yeah, some people might call it breakfast cafe. Right?
Yeah.
It's great to have you in the building with us once again.
Thank you.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
And I have to mention, I love your new studio.
Oh,
it's amazing.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank
glad
you
to
very
be
much.
here. Yeah.
All right, so why is it that a lot of people have become frequent flyers or frequent visitors of the Heartbreak Cafe?
Because the truth is, emotional relationships always navigate through this emotional roller coaster. People go through it, and I always say that relationships are not like they are not like calculus. It's not definitive. It's more organic.
True.
It evolves. So it means that the people that are in the relationship also have to evolve while they are doing the relationship.
Okay.
So this cafe, so the question is, do all relationships have to end up at this cafe? The answer is actually no.
Okay.
You can have good, long, sustainable relationships, healthy relationships. And even if you now need to visit this cafe, because not all relationships will end up where you intended for them to start, especially if you did not define where this was the goal of this relationship. Because sometimes a lot of us see fine boy, see fine girl, and both of us vibe, and then we feel relationship has started. But you need to be able to define
what it is.
Where's this relationship actually? What's the goal for which we are getting into this relationship? And I'm talking whether it is boyfriend, girlfriend, whether it is marriage, whether it's even friendship.
So is it more common that heartbreak occurs because of unseriousness or not taking a relationship seriously or not being intentional with the goals for a relationship? A lot of people just want to feel free.
Yes.
They just want to vibe.
Yes.
They just want to, the talking stage is just fun. Less responsibility.
Yeah, so that happens. But like I said, relationships involve emotions. Your emotions is a part of the person that you actually have to pay attention, or it can overrun you.
Okay.
Good. So because if you don't pay attention to, I'll give you an example. I'll say it this way: every relationship has an emotional investment.
Okay.
And if you do not pay attention to how much of the investment you are putting in the relationship,
Okay.
you would not know where is it going. How much I invest in this relationship should be determined by what's the value of this relationship to me.
Okay.
So if it is just that we are vibing and you have made an investment of a marital nature,
Interesting.
you are going to visit the cafe very soon.
Wow.
Because for you to get to for you to make a marital investment, there have to be two people that are going in the same direction, have the same goal in mind.
Okay. So now, there was the 3 C's: causes, cures, and continuity, right? We've talked a bit about causes now, but cures. Let's talk about what people can do differently in their next relationship. Maybe there's someone they've seen. The person is just perfect, but they're just afraid to step in because of what they've experienced in the last Heartbreak Cafe.
Yeah. I usually say it this way. I say, when it comes to relationships, don't open a new door until you've closed the old one properly.
Interesting.
Or else something is going to filter in from that old one into the new one. And you can mess up the new relationship based off a bad one.
Okay.
Meanwhile, there's nothing wrong with the new one. Do you understand me?
So is
number
it
one,
PTSD?
yeah, no, those are traumas.
Yeah,
Those are
yeah.
real. Those are real traumas.
Experiences.
Yes, those experiences influence future relationships.
Okay.
So I did this show once when I call it my ex and what's next, right? So
Okay.
a lot of people have a lot of exes.
Yeah.
Like I said at the beginning, one, you don't define the relationship, you don't define the goal.
Yeah.
Number two, both of you don't have the same end goal in mind.
Interesting.
One person probably wants a long-term relationship, the other person wants to catch cruise.
Okay.
Now, having passed that stage, now you are at the point where, okay, I've made a mistake or that didn't work out. Now I want to do something different. How do I go about it? I said close that door properly. How do you close the door properly? What does it mean to close the door properly? It means, did you do an end of life of the relationship? So,
Did you actually close the
did
chapter?
you actually close the chapter?
Or is it just pending?
Or did you just hibernate?
That's a very good way to put it. I've actually had conversations with some young people who they've broken up with someone, maybe put even all the blocks on WhatsApp, on all the socials.
Yeah.
And suddenly, just because they want to know what that person is up to, they open up the blocks and then
Yes.
they just, let information filter in, meaning that they've not exactly let go.
So that's where continuity comes in.
Continuity, okay.
Do you understand?
Okay.
Because in doing an end of life of the relationship,
Okay.
you don't just put the blocks. You have to end the life.
Okay, so you have to actually have that conversation and
say,
shut it down.
And shut it down and say, this is over. Oh, of course, because your emotions are involved.
Sure.
There will be some crying. There can be some weeping. There can be some wailing. There'll be...
But that's allowed.
Yes, no, it's allowed.
It's allowed.
There'll be withdrawal syndromes. Some people get into depression because of heartbreaks. And it's allowed. But I said, if you want to end the life, there are a number of things you must do. And you have to be deliberate about them.
Okay.
One of them, like you said, put up the blocks.
Yeah.
Cut off communication.
Completely.
Until you heal.
Okay.
Cut off communication completely, number one. Number two, you have to let the emotions, you have to express what you feel.
So
You have to
this
express,
expressing, a lot of, I'm going to say men, have always been brought up to sort of hide their emotions, especially with regards breakups. If, for instance, a girl breaks up with them,
a guy,
and it's not the other way around, the men tend to... I've actually heard from some men who are a lot more emotional, a lot more invested in relationships than they realize, and they completely break down and shut down.
Yeah.
Before they get into another relationship, it's so hard to sort of break that shell again. But once they do, they're all in. But now, based on the issue of PTSD, we talked about the trauma. They don't know what to do next.
Yeah.
So we're touching a little bit on continuity now, and then also expectations.
Yes. So, I was going to say, part of the reasons why the breakups occur are expectations and unfulfilled expectations.
Okay.
A lot of people, and this is even in long-term relationships like marriage, a lot of people get into marriage and they have certain expectations, but these expectations may not be shared between the parties in the marriage.
So they don't know.
They don't know. So they So sometimes a couple walks into my office and they say they're doing conflict resolution. I'm asking the question, this thing that you said is a problem. How did you communicate it to him or her? And the person is saying, I'm hearing this thing for the first time.
Interesting.
Because someone expected that you should know that as a husband, you should. So all of those, you should, those expectations. Now, bringing it back to what you said about the men, the truth is that strong men do cry. Strong men do cry. They may not do it they may not do it in the open, but their ability to the strength of men also lies in their ability to be very realistic about their emotions and what they do with it.
Interesting. Bottled up tears now. I've seen a lot of angrier or aggressive men. And I've also, seen articles where it's related to them not expressing all their emotions at the right time. Being vulnerable is a big deal.
Yes.
And this is a very vulnerable time we're in now, February, Valentine's period.
Yeah.
There's a lot of intimidating content coming your way on social media. What sort of advice do you have for young couples who have probably had really crazy visits to Heartbreak Hotel?
Yeah.
This is February. Final thoughts.
So what I would say to anyone, young couples, frequent flyers, like you put it to Heartbreak Hotel, is you have to be real with yourself. Okay? You have to be real with yourself, number one. Number two, you have to take definite steps. If I've had a bad experience, I have to close the new one. One of the ways to close let me give you three things, right? Okay. Number one, break communication, like you said.
Yeah.
Number two, you need to have a support system.
Interesting.
What is your anchor? People ride on the tidal waves of relationship. It's a tidal wave. But every ship that rides a wave must have an anchor.
Interesting.
What is that? Who is that person that will not shift when everything around you is shifting? You must have a support system.
Amazing.
And then number three, you must be deliberate about your goals. Where am I going before I even get into the relationship? Because that will determine where my relationship will end.
Okay. Mr. Kingsley Bature here on our relationship segment today. We started off February talking about heartbreak, and there's a reason why we decided to do that. Sadly, a lot more heartbreak happens during February than we realize. Yeah, with the chocolate sometimes come tears. But let's hear from you on social media. Use our hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC and let us know what you think. We'll see you next week.
Thank you.
All right, then let's take that break now. We'll be back after this.